pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you everyone for coming to the meeting.
Welcome.
Roll call, Diane.
Mr. Barber?
Here.
Mr. Douglas?
Here.
Mr. Bruno?
Here.
Mr. Irwin?
Here.
Our supervisor, Mr. McDonald, our town attorney, Mr. Favreau, the Animal Control Officer, Dave Elect, zoning officer, Bob Winup, youth director, John Flynn, highway superintendent, Mike Farrell, confidential secretary to the board, Ann Barber. And I think I got everybody. Is that right?
And Diane Miller. Okay. And John Ryan's here. And we're going to add, actually I will add after the 4. We approve the minutes, we had to do a 4A. We're going to add to the meeting for this input, community input. We got to add 2. So I need a motion and a second to add 4A after number 4 to add community input.
Make the motion.
Recommend the motion? Second by Jim Douglas. All in favor?
Aye.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
It's okay, no big deal. Number 4, motion and a second. I need to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of August 10th, 2020.
Also move.
Mel did
Second.
motion, Craig second. Look good like always, Diane. Any discussion, anyone? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All 5 ayes. Okay, number 4A, the community inputs. Any community input?
Yeah, I had a couple of questions, Brandy.
Okay.
I think I sent, about a week ago, I sent around to the board a breakdown, I think it came from USDA, of grants versus loans and so on for water and sewer projects. I noticed how it started was Cape Vincent got a $7 million loan/grant, and Messina got a $4 million. So I was just wondering what the percentage of loans versus grants was part of that. And Messina got, I think, maybe $1 million grant, $3 million loan, something. But Cape Vincent, I didn't get a chance to double check it tonight, but I spoke to the supervisors of both towns, and Cape Vincent got a huge amount of that was a grant rather than a loan. It was $7 million. It was a brand new system for only 76 households. And ultimately, the taxpayer shot it down, actually. But they have to revise it and go back. But I'm just wondering, have we ever looked at that million we got for this project? Is it a grant or a loan? I think it's a loan, isn't it? Or is it
No,
both?
it's a grant.
It's a
grant.
20%.
Okay, so we got 20. I wonder if there's any,
The biggest
is there
thing
any way to get higher, I guess is
Well,
what
the
I'm
biggest
saying.
things with the grants and all that, John, is it all depends on the income level of, the community, where it's going. Our income level in Peru, as you know, it's above average in certain places. And the other thing is, it all depends on the urgency of it. If you don't plan ahead of time, you start getting fines and different things with violations. There's so many factors that go with that. I mean, Courtney and AES that outside the door, unfortunately, I wish they would have been in here. They could answer a lot of these questions, and so could Liz Tedford. But there's so many factors that go into.
I wonder if politics come into it at all.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure.
Who you know usually means a
We
lot.
definitely do apply for everything that's possible.
Oh, I know, I hope so. But I think it's a good thing to keep a real
But the
close
income
eye on.
levels-
Because I know Messina was scratching their head why Cape Vincent got such a
And
big.
I'd like to know the income levels, because the thing is
Yeah.
that's a big factor in grants, is the income levels. We were just talking about it now, of certain
Yeah.
places in Peru earlier, and we know they're not going to get any grants where we were talking about.
It also is how many people are applying for those grants at that time.
Right,
Because it's a very big pool and then it gets,
right.
How prepared you are ahead of time to go to work if it's, prepared ahead of time.
The other one was on Washington Street there, probably Bob. I guess the Corps of Engineers wants a permanent storage basin? So has it been, do we know if Sawyer's gonna move ahead with that, or what status is it?
So, the conversation, the last conversation that Mr. Sawyer's engineers had with the Army Corps of Engineers is that they want to see the full build-out, which means the replacement of the addition of the south retention basin, and that's what they're looking for. So, as far as Mr. Sawyer's schedule,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for that. I think-
Is that a major project?
Excuse me?
Is this an expensive thing?
Oh, certainly. In the plans that were just sent into the Army Corps, and our engineer had a chance to look at it, meaning Engineering Ventures, there's some questions there that need to be addressed, that went back to their engineer. So, they've changed locations from where from where the original point of the south retention basin, and it actually, they changed locations, and it's actually incorporated, taking a couple of lots for saleable lots away. So they moved it away from the wetlands. But as far as, John, I wish I had a schedule, but I don't have a
Yeah,
schedule.
Now,
okay.
if they don't do this, is that bond cover any of this?
No, the bond was for the road.
Road and sidewalk?
The sidewalks, yeah.
Basically, he's gotta keep the Army Corps happy first before.
Yeah, John, and not only that, there's also the updated SWIP, the Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan. He has to deal with the DEC with that. Your engineers have to satisfy them. So,
Ball's in his court.
yeah.
Until he satisfies them, we don't have anything to do with it.
Yeah, you probably could have sold some houses real quick this year if you had it ready, but,
Any place.
yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, John. Anything else? Anyone else? Okay, moving along. Number 5, resolution discussion. So I need a motion and a second to set a date for the public hearing of solar local law. We have a resolution and the date and time on there. So I need a motion and a second for Diane to read the resolution.
Second.
Okay, Rick made a motion, Craig second. Resolution, Diane, for the number 5.
Resolution setting a public hearing to enact a solar energy local law pursuant to sections 261 to 263 of the town law and section 20 New York Municipal Home Rule Law of the state of New York. Whereas pursuant to section 261-263 of the town law and section 20 of the Home Rule Law of the state of New York, which authorize the town to adopt zoning provisions that advance and protect the health, safety, and welfare of the community, and by the town board of the town of Peru on its own motion, and whereas the town board wishes to enact a local law to create regulations for the installation and use of solar energy generating systems and equipment. Now therefore be resolved by the town board of the town of Peru that a public hearing on the above proposed solar energy local law is hereby set for September 14, 2020 at 5:45 p.m. This resolution shall take effect immediately and shall be dated August 24th, 2020.
Any discussion? Talked about it, Bob, and then went over it, the committee went over it. Everything looks good. Okay, roll call.
Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes. Okay. That one's done. Number 6, another resolution. I need a motion and a second to approve MOU for Clinton County for the WIC plants. It's a program that runs, this one will run October 1st, 2020 until September 30th, 2021.
I'll make the motion.
Craig made the motion,
Second.
second by Jim Douglas. Resolution, Diane.
A resolution approving the memorandum of understanding with Clinton County Health Department for clinic services in the town of Peru and authorizing the supervisor to execute the same. Whereas the town board has a memorandum of understanding between the Clinton County Health Department in the town of Peru to provide a site for clinic services for the residents of Clinton County. Therefore, be it resolved that the proposed memorandum of agreement is approved and the supervisor being hereby is authorized to execute said contract, and be it resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately.
Any discussion? So when we do?
Is this everything's the same as last time?
Yes.
No increases?
No.
No, it's
they-
a program they have downstairs.
They hold that downstairs.
It's a little bit later than normal. because of
Yeah,
the-
yeah, we did vote on before.
Absolutely. Yep. Any other discussion? Roll call, Diane.
Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes. Okay. Number 7. I'm gonna remember this one. Resolution discussion, approval of a contract with Clinton County for assessment services. So we sign apparently every year,
No, it's every 3 years normally.
every 3?
but-
Okay. We did a write-up in the paper that said we sign them every year, but, so every 3 years. So I need a motion and a second for a resolution for this one.
Make a motion.
Motion from Rick,
Second it.
second from Craig. Resolution, Diane.
Resolution for the Peru Town Board authorizing town to accept the 2021 through 2023 contractor agreement with Clinton County Assessment Services. Whereas the town of Peru, supported by the town of Peru board members, and whereas with support from town of Peru board, it is agreed that it is the best interest of the town of Peru to accept the 2021 through 2023 contracted agreement with Clinton County Real Property Office for assessment services as stated on the attached contract. And whereas the Peru Town Board authorizes the supervisor to sign the contract with Clinton County Real Property Office for assessment services as stated on the attached contract. But the town of Peru agrees to pay the county a scale fee of $14.50 for 2021, $14.75, $14.75 for 2022, and $15 for 2023 for each parcel containing the completed final assessment roll, with the total amount for that year due under this resolution to be paid on or before August 1 each year. Now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor of the board of the town of Peru be and hereby authorized to enter into contract with Clinton County Real Property Office for assessment services as stated on the attached contract for the town of Peru, and the scale fee as outlined above for each parcel containing the completed final assessment roll, with the total amount for that year due under this resolution to be paid on or before August 1 each year. Resolved that this resolution will commence on the first day of January 2021 and shall continue and include the 31st of December 2023.
As you guys see, each year it goes up a quarter. That's been on kind of like an average quarter to 50 cents in between the years. So each year it goes up a quarter. It was last year, Kim?
It was $13.50 last year, it goes up 75 cents 2021, then up $1 above the original and $1.25 above the original. So it goes up 75 cents first year, and then a quarter each year after,
Okay.
from the 13.50.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm looking at 14, I was like, I can't vote for that. All right.
Any more questions or any concern? Anyone?
No, I just,
Yep.
explain.
Yep. Roll call?
Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes. Okay, that's for the next 3 years. Okay. Number 8, another resolution discussion for Diane. Adoption of the LGS-1 record retention schedule. If you have questions about this, Pam, I asked her earlier today about this. It's, so if you want to made a motion and a second, and then we can have discussion.
Make a motion.
Craig?
I'll second.
Mel? Might as well have a discussion now and then we do a resolution. Pam, explain to everyone, I'm sure there's gonna be questions. You don't see this very often.
This is the record retention schedule for all of the municipal records we have, whether it's payroll records, bond records, vouchers, meeting minutes, any of this stuff.
Everything that's in the vault.
Yeah, everything that's stored here as far as paperwork goes. And they have, payroll is permanent. Like the vouchers, I think, are 3 or 5 years. And the bonds are permanent. And
There's all scheduled.
anything, yeah,
Yep.
it's basically tells everything that is done, when you can dispose of it or when you can. And this is the new one that they sent out.
How often do we dispose of it?
Whatever the.
The schedule is.
The schedule, you have to go by the schedule.
So there's stuff downstairs that we should get rid of
It's
or?
going, it's going,
Yeah.
Sure.
it's going.
Yeah, we pay a company to come
We're
in.
waiting for the court to get the okay from the OSC, am I saying that correctly?
OCA.
OCA, whatever,
OCA, yeah.
to be able to dispose of the records that they have. And then
Good.
there's already a bunch downstairs separated, and then there's some in here that are separated, and then we'll do the rotation, because we've got the whole list of, because they're all numbered, everything's got a number.
Good.
And then there's this schedule, but they just switched to this.
So we do that every year then?
What, do the shredding?
Yeah.
No, it'll be too expensive, hon.
Oh, it's
This-
expensive?
We can.
This
But-
the resolution we're voting on, does this change anything from the current status?
No, it's just saying, it's just a new way of what they're doing, and we've got the book, and Marie, I don't know what her last name is, I could look it up, she's, I communicate with her, and, the book, the schedule is 487 pages, I think, and eventually we'll get a hardcover book, because I asked for one which we do not have to pay for, but I copied it out for the because that's what we use, you know. That's what we use to know what can get pitched after so many years. And
Good.
just for example, dog licenses, just to throw in dog licenses. It was 1,552 years. We only have to keep them for 3 years. So every month, when I put in 2020s, I take out that month for 2017 and it goes in the circular. And so it gets rid of paper in that sense.
Yeah.
I forgot that you told me how much that was for that shredding that time. It wasn't that much, was it?
No, it's and it's under it's going to be under $1,000, so that it doesn't even have to be.
Cord and the.
Right. There was what, 97 boxes, I believe?
Yeah.
96 boxes,
97
97 boxes, and by the time that, whatever, gets approval, we'll probably have more. You know?
So this is basically a resolution adopting what the state has already told us we're gonna do.
Yeah, and it had to go through by the first, this is all in place the 1st of January 2021. And actually, I'm doing, I know Judy is, are you gonna do the webinar with us? Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock. And then if any of you gentlemen wanna watch it, we can give you the link for it. Just an offer. Just an offer.
But you know,
Really have nothing else going on, you're like.
Well, no, you can do it at a later date when you have nothing to do at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Or if you can't sleep one night.
Let us know.
Yeah.
With all that being said, resolution, Diane. Thank you.
A resolution accepting the new retention and disposition schedule for the New York Local Government Records LGS-1. Resolved by the Peru Town Board of the Town of Peru that the retention and disposition schedule for New York Local Government Records LGS-1 issued pursuant to Article 57-A of the Arts and Cultural Affairs Law and containing legal minimum retention periods for local government records is hereby adopted for use by all offices in legally disposing of valueless records listed therein. Further resolved that in accordance with Article 57-A, only those records will be disposed of that are described in retention disposition schedule for the New York Local Government Records, LGS-1, after they have met the minimum retention periods described therein. Only those records will be disposed of that do not have sufficient administrative, fiscal, legal, or historical value to merit retention beyond established legal minimum periods. Resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately.
Roll call.
Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yeah.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes. 5 yeses. Okay, move along. Number 9. We talked about this earlier. We know we got to do another resolution.
We need the motion.
Craig made a motion.
I'll second.
Second by
Make it Rick.
Rick. For the purchase of the community church property. We agreed at one thing, we sent it over, they came back at this, we know we need it, it's $500 more, we need to have it for our project.
The counter offer is acceptable.
Yep, absolutely.
People do it every day.
The first one we did was only done by motion.
Yep.
Just so you know, so we didn't have to rescind
Yep.
the resolution.
The new resolution to purchase it at the 9,000 that they will agree with, they came back. So I need a resolution for that one, Diane.
A resolution to purchase a portion of land from Fleet Community Church as shown on survey map dated 6/10/20 by Scott B. Allen, LS of AES Northeast. Whereas the town of Peru finds it would be beneficial to purchase a portion of land owned by Peru Community Church for the erection of a new municipal sewage pump station. Whereas the Peru Town Board has received 2 estimates and has forwarded the copy of the same to the Peru Community Church along with survey map and Schedule A description dated June 11, 2020 by Scott B. Allen, LS on June 18, 2020. Whereas the town board has determined that it is willing to purchase the said property with a counter offer for an amount of $9,000. Be it resolved that the town supervisor is authorized to sign all paperwork to execute this purchase as soon as possible.
Roll call.
Mr. Barber?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
I gotta abstain.
Oh,
because
that's
of the-
Mr. Irwin?
I'm a member of that church, but I vote
Okay, and
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes. Yep, yeah, you could vote, that's, you're a member of it. Okay, so 4 with 1 abstain. That passes, okay. Number 10 we're at, discussion, possible paving of the driveway into Lappin's Mills Recreation Park. Rick and Jim, and you guys want to talk about this?
John had asked us about possibility of paving the road going into the rec building. I went over there and looked at it. The place is loaded with poison ivy, so you can't really get in and start looking for pins and everything around the area because it's bad. John got a map. This was the map that Bob gave me off our computer. And as you can see, over here on this side, that line looks like it's awful close to the driveway. And I said, depending on where that would fall, we probably couldn't pave because it's too close. John went and got a map. Where'd this come from, John?
Bob.
He got a map. He got this from Bob. There's actually another pin in there that takes the line away from the driveway. Right here on this corner. It goes from where the telephone poles are out next to Lappin's Mills Road at an angle and hits another pin that we didn't know existed and gets it away from the driveway all the way down through to the back, if you guys want to look at it.
And we know this one's right over that one.
Puts it closer to the field.
And away from that guy's property.
Bob, do we know if,
Never go by the GIS map.
don't go by this?
Don't go by
Okay.
that. This is the survey map.
Okay.
From part of that Harry Haynes
Development.
Glen
That's
South.
Harry Haynes development.
Yeah.
I don't want the paper.
What?
I don't want the paper.
It's broke?
That's the bad news.
Okay,
was coming under road safety.
all right.
What are you thinking down there, Mike? You gotta have more base put in beyond where the base is now?
I just quickly looked at it. And at that time, we were talking from the building out towards the pole. I don't know what this is.
This would be from the building to the pole.
Okay, stop.
Where this area was,
Now-
poison ivy.
The poison ivy issue was just trying to find the pins so we can
All right,
run
all
lines.
right. So we got base all the way.
Yeah, and you can't get in there at this time of year and find those pins. It's impossible. Unless you guys know somebody that can't catch
Cover
poison
up
ivy.
your skinny little legs.
Yeah, okay. I catch it just looking at it. But anyway, I also told John, in order to keep the cost down, instead of putting a top on it, we'll go with
Binder.
just binder. And you can put a sealer on top of the binder and it'll do just as good a job. And it would keep the cost significantly lower for us.
Yeah, you're talking $2.50 a ton
Different.
less for a
Yeah.
binder.
Any idea what the total we're looking at?
With this binder, if you're,
Uh,
if it was
I had a price, but I don't know where it ended up.
It was a while ago. 10 grand,
Yeah, it was probably around, I don't, is that,
but
I'm not
what's the issue?
binder?
No, well, yeah, the paver issue.
Parts, we had it fixed, and that was coming. As you know, we hired, Burnell because the paver was down. Sam came and fixed it. We need 2 seal kits, which drive the auditors, which bring the materials back. Of course, the Volvo went and bought ourselves, and we changed all the parts numbers, so it's a fiasco. Anyway, finally straightened out what we need. There's a right and a left. They make one, the other one's obsolete. They cannot get it. So I had to buy the whole valve. I got them today. But in the meantime, after he fixed it and put the things on, I washed my car Saturday morning because I had a wedding last Saturday, and then there was nothing on the ground. I come in Monday morning, go out to 4 o'clock in the morning, check the garage. There was a massive amount of oil coming from the paper. So I called Sam again and I said, I don't think this is a seal kit. I think we've got something else. But anyway, he came right out. Both hydraulic motors are gone. Those are $5,000 some dollars or together, over 5 grand. So right now we got $6,000 plus parts coming. The issue is you can't get parts for the paper anymore. Got talking to him, and I brought this up before. Do we put this thing back together and mothball it, trade it, whatever you want to do, start either trade it towards another paver, or do we hire a paving gun? It's come to that point, we can't get the parts. He was just talking, and it's kind of on purpose. He just pulled a radiator out of a newer 325 cat excavator. A newer one. He can't get one. There's none in the United States. They called, it's made in China, Wuhan, or however you say it. They told him 7 days to 2 months, but they couldn't guarantee it. They ended up, found a used one out of a junkyard somewhere, tested it, and that's what he's gonna put in. But he said that's what they're kind of doing now, because nothing's made here anymore. So that's what the point is. I had ordered 2 paddles, and paddles go on the side, inside the screen. That automatically tells the auger to kick the material to the back of the screen, so you're not sitting there open. But we got the last one made in the United States. I can't get the second one, and I've already paid for it. So they're going to try to patchwork one together to get us one, because they're over $1,000 a piece. So that's what we're dealing with now with this paper. It's come to that point.
How much more paving you got outside of this project?
I just got the bill for Barney Downs. I haven't tallied the numbers, but I gotta save that 20% plus because of the state, the kickback or the sales tax is way down, as everybody knows. So I was open to do like either, because I don't know if I have enough money left That's, you know, I wanna, whatever I got left, I wanna do a whole road, I don't wanna do a piece.
So, I mean, at this point, you pretty much got a hire done.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell you, I started digging out for Courtney, and I had planned on anyway, but we did the garage today, and I gotta hire that done.
What, any idea what Brunel's gonna charge for John's project? Any?
Now, we may be out of, if I can get the parts, I just don't know when, how long it's gonna get. That's something like that, we could roll the dice and do our, it's definitely gonna be cheaper if we do it.
Where's the money coming from for the project?
We have set this aside in the capital funds project for doing things around the town for our own property. That's still there.
Would it be the building fund that
Yeah.
we put the extra money in?
Yes.
Okay, that's totally different than a capital project.
Okay, well, it was the monies that we had booked for the roofs and the
If
things like
anything
that.
happens around here, or the driveway, or the walls, or anything like
Yeah.
that. Because we did put 25,000 extra in that last year,
Mhm.
Right?
which we still have.
But it's a capital improvement. We don't have one.
Okay.
I know All Sable a couple of years ago was interested in going on halves on a paving. She's gonna spend better than 100 grand for a paver that size in decent shape, and it's gonna be used. But TK announced last Wednesday, he's gonna retire. Of course, he's got 56, he's got the 30 years, he can't, and the numbers are like Greg, it doesn't make any sense to work, so, I think I know who's gonna take his spot, whether or not he's gonna be brand new. I don't know if he'd be interested, and I don't know what the board is, we got a lot of projects coming now. What's that?
How much did you say? How much was it? 100,000?
Yeah, you're gonna spend, for that size paver we got right now, which isn't really a road paver, but it does a good job. Yes, you're
I
gonna spend
think
100,000.
when we come to making that decision, we've got to punch some numbers as far as hiring it out.
Yeah, we gotta, Art, this is, sure.
What you're talking about is shared service, in other words.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it would be us and All Sable, if anybody.
Well, I mean, you'll know more when you get this bill from Barney Downs.
Yeah, I got that bill. That ended up being, the one that was 8,000, say, right around 8,000. That's the backhoe, everything, that's their labor, their roller. We ended up got a few hundred off the roller, because their roller broke down, we ended up moving ours. They use our rollers.
So it's 8,000 just for the equipment?
That was for, no, that's all the prevailing wage for the guys.
Yeah.
Their paver, their roller, the tack truck, and the operator for that, and the tack. Which the tack was, county bid, so. And Burnell's on the county bid, so it's just,
So do you think, Mike, in the next 2 weeks before our next meeting, that you could come up and get a good ballpark price over there for?
if I got Bart and didn't see him, that's the next thing. I don't know if I'm gonna have to, I can't use it right now. It's running.
What's the issue with the road that we're having? Is it full of potholes or something?
Yes.
Okay. We had proposed about doing the parking lots and leaving the driveway the way it was. John said the road, especially during the soccer season, gets more use than the parking lots do. Everybody comes down, drops their kids off at the building, and out they go. Us as a board, not knowing all this, we thought it'd be nicer to do the parking lots. He said it would be better for everybody involved down there if the driveway got done. I said, that's why he came and asked me. I said, all right. I said, I'll propose it to the board.
In money-wise, what do you think, Rick?
It's a lot cheaper to do the driveway than it is to do the parking lot.
A lot cheaper.
A lot
cheaper. And binder, obviously, a lot cheaper than
Yeah.
doing a flat finish coat.
And the way Mike suggested, they suggested we put that down in the binder. And it'll-
Yeah, I mean, you're actually better off just to put the binder down and run on it for a year or two, and then if you decide you got the money, you want to put the top on. That's the way to do it. That's the way you should actually do your own record. Put the binder
Well, that's
down.
something that they have to do over my house. I mean,
Yeah.
they always tell you 2 years, 3 years, and then you do it, because if you do the top coat and something happens,
Yeah.
you're stuck with what you
It
have.
usually settles if you have any soft spots, and then they fix it before they put the valve on.
I just hate to see us take it out of the building fund. Is there any other funds we can take it out of? There's no youth extra fund we can take it out of?
We could, because, I mean, there's gonna, I mean, we gotta be careful where funds come out of. We gotta look at them, but the youth will definitely have
Right.
extra money this year, as we know. So we can look, but Mike, can you get us a price regardless if your machine's working or not? Can you get us some prices in the next couple weeks of this binder, if it was working?
Yeah.
That way we know where we are money-wise, and then we can take a look at the different lines. I mean, we're gonna encumber, not gonna encumber, we're going to have money roll over into unappropriate fund balance this year, as we know from the, for sure, without even a doubt. And then we could, go with that money and we can figure out what we'd like to know total.
But we had said that before, I think money that was put aside for shirts, for bats, balls, or anything like that, that's for the kids and the youth. This road is for the town. So, I mean, we had said way back, before you got on, we talked about it, we were gonna do it, and Jimmy Langley brought it up and made a good point. That should be a capital project, not.
But I'm sure that was before the pandemic and we didn't use the money, Jim. The money-
Sorry?
As it was before the pandemic and we didn't have this extra money like we do now because we didn't have any youth activities. So it's a little different scenario than before, Now we didn't have the activities, we have all this money. We roll it over, we're gonna have twice as much next year, you're gonna buy twice as many t-shirts or something? Why not use it for the road?
We can take a look at it. I mean, we can definitely take a look at it, but
Let's
see-
find out how much it's gonna be.
Let's find out how much we are gonna be.
Yeah.
Let's see, absolutely. See where we are, and
And then it's not pressing that it's gotta get done tomorrow.
No,
Yeah.
no.
But,
I mean, if you could get your machine, I'm sorry.
yeah,
If you could get your machine done, you could definitely do it a lot
Yeah,
cheaper.
no doubt about that.
good.
And that's a point, I mean, this isn't nothing that has to be done tomorrow. I mean, Mike, like, Randy said, you could get back to us and when you think it's working and
you got that new map now that you can see.
Yeah.
You give that to Mike after.
Which would
Give me a copy.
Give him a
Yeah.
copy.
which would be
The
better.
one underneath, Mike. Okay, got any more on this right now? Rick, John, anyone right now, until we figure out exactly what it costs us?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, number 11. Just for discussion purposes for the budget coming, obviously, that's gonna be next month. These are right around the dates last year that fell into place, but this year's Wednesdays. Does Wednesday still work for everyone for budget meetings? 6 o'clock, or do you wanna go earlier, or do 6 is good for everyone?
6 is good.
6 is fine.
Yeah.
What Wednesdays are you talking about, John?
Any Wednesday that you have a meeting, we go downstairs like always.
Okay,
Yeah, we've
Okay.
done it every year.
Thank
So if you're up here, we go down.
all right.
Or, actually, we could stay up there, you could go down, yeah. You're on Zoom anyways. No, we would go down like normal.
Feels like a wheel when he sits in your chair, though, you know?
Yeah, yeah, so Wednesday, September 16th, 2020, obviously this year, 6 o'clock. But John, we'll give you a schedule of this.
Okay.
I mean, any of these dates can change if something comes up, obviously, but this is what I'm looking at. We will have a gap between October 21st, budget review workshop to the public hearing. We always have a couple week gap, that way we can fine tune and anything where we gotta look. This year's budget, as we know, with the assessed values, we're gonna have to look at that really close, because of the taxes that people are gonna be paying this year. So, it's gonna be a different budget this year because of that, for sure.
Plus the property tax cap is 1.56 now instead of 2.
Yeah. Which, I mean, we've been very good, and honestly, from the assessed values, I mean, you've seen the school went down 6.7%. Our budget is gonna look very similar, going, I hope, down because of our assessed values, because of the value. But that's what we do, workshops and everything for. Yeah, and then you got the county, but it's 3 players and the county. So we won't take advantage of that assessed values for sure.
Water and sewer, is that gonna be the 16th, is that why there's no date in front of it?
What's that?
Water and sewer, you have no date in front of it, is it gonna be the 16th also?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yes. But yeah, it's,
Diane just.
it rolls in, we just got hand Diane the 10 of the morning, and then we go right to the workshop with the water sewer.
Yeah, these are all good for me, I don't know.
Okay. Well, like you said, if we have to juggle someone, we always can, we just announce it ahead of time. Okay? So, I don't need a motion second first. Nope. No? Okay. Okay, number 12, other business, Rick.
Yeah. John wanted to bring up, the possibility of a,
Go ahead, bring it up.
yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
the possibility of the volleyball court.
Yes, there you go.
There we go.
I got a couple
I knew I'd
possibilities.
get it out.
I got a couple possibilities. Yeah, the youth commission wants to put in a outdoor volleyball court. Mr. Bro, when he passed away, his family,
Yeah.
so I think Judy said there's 2,500 in it. We got an estimate for everything, and I sent you guys, Jim and Rick, I sent you an email today.
Yes.
So the youth commission wanted, I think it's, more than, I think it's 40, 46 or 42 for everything. Greg Mills did a proposal. We would like on the other side of the new playground if possible. The only thing we're gonna need is help from Courtney's guys to dig the hole. It's 70 by 44. Those are the dimensions.
John sent me the email, Rafferty sand and gravel, 333 cubic yards of sand, $3,413. I only got half of this, John. Is it net and poles from
Probably, yeah.
BSN Sports?
Yep, let's see if I can
Is-
bring it up.
I'm fogging up.
That's okay, what's,
605. And.
what do they play on?
Sand.
Sand.
Sand. Sand was 3413. I can't read the one that you got here, John. It said something ties.
Yeah, railroad ties from Lowe's, I think he's got 18 of them.
Yeah, 18 railroad ties,
1488 or 268.
$268.
Go around the outside. So it's like a beach volleyball court.
Grand total of 4286.
Right. And I'm not, I think Judy said 2,500, I can ask her tomorrow.
And as you recall, I was going to do the wall for the soccer and that kind of stuff.
Well, the price got
Got
crazy.
way
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
For the original price to,
Much better idea.
I mean, he
Yeah.
said, I think it went from 3,000 to 10,000.
Yeah, it went way crazy, the wall just.
Youth commission thought, there's people there's a couple people that want to do this, in the town, and we thought it was a good idea. We try and do something different up there. We're running out of things to do. The other thing we could do is a walk path around. A lot of people walk around the park when the kids are practicing. That was the other option, so when we came up with this, we thought it was a good idea.
Is that special sand?
You just try and get the good sand.
Is it screened?
Yes,
Okay,
it is.
it's good sand.
Yes.
Let's just say, if it's not special, the same sand costs you about $1,200 to rent one.
Is it screened?
Screen.
It
Yeah,
is.
that's what we use.
Okay,
And how much was that price?
3,400.
$4 a yard on screen, so.
And we know that's way low because of the deal they made with the town on this.
What about the gravel, can you get that too?
What's that?
The gravel?
Yeah, 3413 through Rafferty's.
Probably,
The gravel we buy county
Yeah.
contract.
Question is,
well, probably half of that at hauling.
well, I was just gonna say, John, did they tell you?
Get cheaper.
It's $10.25 a yard through Rafferty's.
That's probably hauling.
Delivered
That's gotta
price.
be delivered. So can we get it from somewhere
Yeah,
We can get-
haul it.
In Holland
in Holland?
for $4 a
Good.
yard.
I mean, we can always get you a hope, you can look at it, but actually I got some right out back in a bottle.
Perfect.
Well, I'm gonna look at that, because that would
Small
save us
vial.
a lot of
See if
money. We might be down to that $2,500
If
range.
it doesn't, then
You think about
Take
that,
your shoes off and
400
step
right
in.
there,
Yeah.
it's,
Maybe
I'm
use that,
almost gonna you'll cover it with.
It'll save you a little money.
Yeah, save us a lot of money.
And that is good street sand, isn't it, Mike, from Redline?
Also, that salted sand, we can use this thing year round.
Now you're talking.
Courtney, biggest factor, can you guys dig that out?
When are we talking?
Tomorrow.
Doesn't matter what, as long as we get it done by the time it snows. Not 70 by 40.
Yeah, I mean, if it doesn't need to be done tomorrow, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So you're good with that?
40?
Hopefully grass is.
Greg said 70 by 44 will give you a little bit on the outside
Okay.
from the
Like
other.
that ticket will come down a lot, we can use Mike's and Remlard
Just
stuff.
ask John to send it to me or
I just
I'll
did.
forward it to
Yeah,
Mike. so he
absolutely.
can-
We can't dig it, Mike can, he can't pay it.
I bet, well, I bet 25 will cover it.
Use the paper.
Yeah.
It's good for digging.
Paper.
Paper's good for digging now.
I said you can't pave, so you can dig a hole.
It's not gonna take a location of any sports, soccer or anything?
No,
I know Scott
Greg and I
Rowe.
walked it off, we looked at it.
Yeah, and every time Scott Rowe comes in, I work at Heinz too, he always asks me, where
Yeah,
you
we
guys
feel
gonna spend
bad
that money that
because
my
we
father
didn't do that.
donated when he passed,
We feel bad we didn't do the wall, but I
Yeah,
think that's
well,
something.
he
I
knew that.
really
He
wanted
understood
that
last
too,
year.
you know?
Yeah.
It's too expensive.
We need,
Gotta put a plaque
we
on
need a
it,
motion.
that guy could go, his name is so-and-so, like that one.
And we could do like that, saying, maybe put up a plaque or something
Right.
for
Yep.
that, saying, or on the pole or something,
Yep,
as we all know.
That border wall got.
How are them guys raising that money?
Okay,
They
so,
bought homes.
But there's not confirmed price.
so until we know the total with Mike figuring in the factor for Remlards and stuff, let's get that total before next meeting, and that way we can pass it with a total of money
Yeah.
that's, on
Break
resolution.
down too where you're gonna buy stuff from, so we don't, so we're under the bid process. You know, you're gonna buy this many dollars worth of stuff from Lowe's, this much from somewhere else. That'll make,
It sounds like to
have
me
a
it's
breakdown
all
of
over
the
1,000,
where
so
it's
it's
coming
good.
from.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we can, put in the motion next meeting if you guys get all.
Mike, I will send you this email that John sent me, and it's got it on the bottom. And then we'll go from there.
Good. That sounds like a good plan.
Yeah.
And honestly, down the road, I mean, not this year or something, I like the idea of the thing around the whole field, because so many parents walk
I know.
down to Bailey Avenue. You go down to a baseball game I went down to on Sunday, you get 4 or 5 parents just walk around the whole Bailey Avenue. During the game, they stop talking, and then they start walking again, so I think that's a good idea down the road.
John and I had talked about it.
Oh, is that grass?
If we
or
ever
something?
go further
Well, no, it
with
keeps
the
it off the
walking
road,
trail.
so they got it right down to
That
the
would
fields.
hook right in with the walking trail. When you get down to Lappin's Mills, you take a lap around Lappin's Mills, you get back on the walking trail and come
I
back.
mean, that's down the road, but
Yeah.
let's get this
Good.
volleyball thing, I think it's a good idea. Okay. Okay, Rick, any more?
I'm done.
Jim?
I'm good.
Rick? Or not Rick, no, I'm looking at it.
I'm good.
Craig?
What's that?
Bob?
Any idea how long these Zoom meetings, how long the Zoom meetings will continue?
That's up to you and
It's
your
up to
board.
you.
It's
What's
up
that?
to you and your
It's up to you
board.
at this point.
Okay. All right, so there's no directive from the state that says,
Nope.
as long as we can maintain the
As
system.
long as we
Yeah,
can
so,
maintain.
yeah, Town of Plattsburgh went back to online for both, and they basically kept everybody outside until they left it, like that door remained
Yep,
open
yep.
to the outside.
Yep,
Kept everybody, applicants only could come in when it's their turn, that was in the
Right.
general public.
okay.
Had a, you know.
Sign a pad, right? Sign a pad. when you come
Yeah,
in.
just like we're doing now, basically.
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
And they're doing the same thing with us with town board meetings now. I mean, as you know, we stayed live, with
Right.
somebody here. We didn't allow everyone to come in all the time,
Sure.
the workers, everyone. But they're doing the same thing now. If someone wants to come in and speak, they could come in at one at a time. But we don't have enough room in this building
Yep.
to allow,
Yep.
at this point in time, the state requirements to allow the public to come in. But, I mean, anyone that's ever had questions, as you all know,
Yeah.
I mean, John records, so, it's out there.
So we set up the September meetings with the planning board for the Zoom. I'm gonna propose at that meeting that we
Yeah.
go back to October, go back to a regular meeting and then, I mean, it's working out, but
It's hard.
it is.
It's hard not having someone physically there because
Yeah.
you got you know, different things. And like Matt said though, just make sure, as you know,
Yep.
one applicant at a time come in, they go out, they sign out, they sign in.
Yep.
Yep. At court, they're calling people. I mean, I went to court last weekend, I'm gonna go tomorrow. They go through the drive-through and they check in right there. They leave their phone number or cell phone number. If they don't have one, then they will physically go out in their car and tell them it's their time to come in. There's only one person going into court at a time, obviously, the public defender,
Okay.
Andy Wiley, or the attorney there,
Right.
or the client's attorney.
Right.
So that's how they're doing it over at court. The court has started back up too. Anything else, Bob?
That's it.
Dave?
Took number 8 in today, I'll say we'll call and go down to the chasm and pick one up, I told them to get their own dog patrol officer, I wasn't going down there. You want to get rid of your poison ivy down in the park? I got 2 goats I'll rent you for a week. Be gone in a week. I have no poison ivy or sumac or nothing on my property.
Just bring them over for a walk,
Yeah.
as long as you get a license for them.
I can imagine.
Make sure to pick up after.
No, that's fertilizer. They go like rabbits.
Anything else, Bob? Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Courtney?
Just a couple things, I guess. The spring tower, they sent everybody pictures.
Yeah.
Nothing's been done with that, except they climbed it and secured it. But I don't know what's going on with that.
Lucky that didn't go over.
It's still on site up there. Wow.
Real lucky.
Yeah, the only thing I know is that they sent a crew up to secure it.
What is it up there?
The Sprint cell tower.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Top
that was
of
showing us
the water tower.
Bolts are rotted right off.
As you know, I did hire a drone to come up and fly it and check for any damage to the water tower. Nothing was found. I had him there. I had him also check the antennas, our antennas on the leg, to make sure none of that moved and that all was secure. The other thing, did you give them the reports? Everybody should have the reports.
Yeah, there's 2 big ones in there.
Both wastewater plants and the water plant, backwash lagoons from DEC, they were all rated satisfactory.
Good.
And another thing I guess I had was, we're still working on the clarifiers. We are finding a lot of worn parts. A lot of the stuff down there is getting to that age. And of course, you're running into finding the parts for stuff that's 30 years old. So,
Where are you gonna find the parts?
I had a company come in from Pennsylvania. They actually went down in and took measurements and listened to me back to me with updating some of the equipment in there. Just see what we can afford, fix what we can for now. That's about it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Any questions for Courtney? John?
I just got a couple things. The Blaze brothers that we hired, their last day was Thursday. So all the baseball fields are all weeded. They painted all the inside of all the dugouts. And they helped me organize all the baseball, softball stuff. Got it out of the bags, got it all separated. So it looks really good. Those guys did a really good job. So I'm glad that we hired them. Secondly, I'd like to have a discussion about soccer, if I could. We have a youth commission meeting again next week. We had one last month, and we started talking about soccer. We didn't vote on it, but the board's a little split on what we should do. Some people think we should, we were using the high school guidelines as of September 21st. And the governor came out today saying that's fine for the high schools. So we were going on that date. So we weren't going to start till the 21st anyways, but there's still a couple people on the board that aren't sure that we should start. A couple people on the board think we should start, and I wanted to get everybody's opinion of what they think we should do. The biggest problem that I see is policing it. We can't have the 8 games on Saturday mornings anymore like we usually do. So I'm gonna make probably 3 or 4 fields instead of 8. We're probably gonna have more kids on a team, so we have less games. We can alternate the games on different nights. So there's some things that we can do as far as that. But the wearing of the mask and 6 feet apart, it's a problem. No matter where you go or where they play, that's good. That's the biggest problem. I think a couple people on the board are a little bit worried about that. So I said that I'll come here, get everybody's opinion on what you guys think is the right thing, or what direction we should lean towards.
What's the school been doing, John? I haven't
The
been.
school
out.
doesn't start till the 21st.
21st.
But they've been practicing, John. So-
That's like, it's a school team, but it's not affiliated with a school.
Oh,
So it's like their summer high school team.
okay.
So they can't, that's why they play at Sullivan Park, because they can't go on school grounds.
Yeah,
They can't do anything, they have nothing to do with the school, they have their own insurance, so they're doing their own thing. You know, and I've been down there and watched it, you know, the Peru people seem like they're okay, it's the other team, you know, who controls the other team, you know? That's where the problem is. So I'm not really sure what direction.
But are we gonna keep soccer in-house though?
We are,
So that's.
we don't have that problem with visiting teams.
So that's good.
The problem's gonna be, you know, if we were, I don't think we can do the 6 foot, you know, social distancing. I think we have to have everybody wear a mask. So what happens if the guy doesn't want to wear the mask? Who's gonna
So
tell him?
I was involved in the city of Little League, and basically the rules there, and it seemed to work, were only 3 kids in the dugout, and if you're in the dugout, you have a mask on. They set up like down the sidelines for kids to kind of sit without their mask on if they want to, as long as you're 6 feet apart if they're not playing. When you're in the field or at bat, you do not have to have a mask on, you're running bases, and that was passed by, I guess, the Little League Association, or whatever the heck it was. That seemed to work out. All coaches, all umpires, masked all the time, regardless of what you do. That seemed to work out really well. And from what I saw from what the governor's saying today, I don't think he mandated masks during competitive play for high school athletes. I'm not positive. I didn't see anywhere in there where he did.
Okay.
So it would certainly be up to a league determination of what you want to do with masks and that kind of stuff with soccer. I mean, with little kids playing soccer, it's like ants on a sugar cube. They all run the ball.
Right.
That's a problem. We had kids whose parents said, I want my son or daughter to have a mask on the whole time. They played with a mask the whole time, didn't bother them. Some kids would pull it out like after that, and that was that. I mean, I would err on the side.
I'm worried about the crowd. I mean, I'm worried about the parents of the kid, or the, you know.
So, I mean, there's nothing outside of this, you have to have masks on right now, right? So we had all the parents in the stands, you're not responsible for them as a league at all. They can do what they want. I could walk up and watch the game, you have no control over if I have a mask on, because I'm outside. Your only control is over the kids that are there, and the coaches, anybody affiliated with your league. Spectators, parents, whoever else is there, they can do what they please. You do get into the 50-person event thing, but that's why if you're outside and they're so far spaced out, that doesn't really matter as much. We had games where there were easily, you know, our game almost ended, the next game's about to start, there's 100 people at Bailey Avenue Park, but it's huge, like you guys have here, they're all over the place. So you don't really have to worry about that part of it as much.
So you're saying not to worry about the crowd?
The crowd is, you can't, just like if, you know, you should, like the colleges had this problem, they had 50 kids show up at a beach party the other night.
Yeah.
You know, they go break that up, nobody's maintaining social distancing. It was a gathering of easily over 50 people that was a, you know, a controlled gathering.
In a small area.
In a small area. Your field here is so big, I don't think you're gonna have 50 parents watching one soccer game at a time. As long as you don't have that, they're gonna be able to spread out enough where that's okay. And you can't control what happens with that too much anyway.
Even if it's on town property?
Yeah, I mean, so you put 200 people at Lapham's Mills Park, which I think is more over here, right?
Yeah. That's a big
So
one.
you could have everybody
The big one.
100 yards apart over
The
there if
big
you
one.
wanted to.
Okay.
It's up to them to kind of maintain what they're doing and how they're
Okay.
gonna
What they're
And
comfortable
like we
with.
saw at our games, 99% of people were perfect the whole time. Some parents in the stands had masks on the whole time. They walk around the game and do that kind of stuff. People kind of do what they do. I don't understand the point. I don't understand why sports are not starting now. To me, this is the safest time we're gonna have. This is the governor. Why wait another 4 weeks for the infection level to rise when colleges come back and kids get back inside? To me, if you're gonna start sports, start now. Why it's nice out, let them run around. In Little League, going on all summer, I think YMCA soccer starts in like 2 weeks outside. I get the, I mean, I kind of understand why the governor's doing what he's doing with that, but I don't think youth sports have to be necessarily governed by those dates. To me, start it now, let it run its course until it starts to get cold and people get inside. Give them 5 weeks of running around and see what happens.
Yeah, because I saw Connecticut had a problem with their youth soccer.
Yep.
So he took all youth soccer and said,
Right.
so.
Yeah, I think there's a good chance you're gonna get September 21st, it's gonna be enough outbreaks, they're gonna shut everything down.
Right,
So,
But we don't.
if you wanna let the kids play, start it as soon as you can, if it's all possible, but
right.
as long as you space the fields out enough, and space, like, the biggest thing is the timing of the game, so you don't have 100 people showing up,
Right.
go like this.
Right, I can do that.
Yeah, so
that's
as long
not,
as you do that, I think you're good.
that's not a problem, I can do that.
Where do we stand liability wise?
As long as you're following whatever the guidelines are for that day, you're okay. But it's, I will look at what they're saying for sports, for sporting events as far as masks and youth sports, because there is a difference too now between youth sports regulations and interscholastic sports, which seem to be much more highly regulated. The Little League was governed by the Little League of USA regulations, not what the cities and towns of the kids who were playing put in place. So I would recommend, like, we come up with a COVID waiver for everybody's gonna play. You know, you basically make the parents sign off about what protocols are gonna be in place, they agree to abide by them and follow them, but they kind of waive any liability against the town for participating in this if somebody contracts COVID.
If we were to put signs down there, masks not necessary for spectators, but please maintain social distance,
Absolutely.
that would be fine.
We talked about that earlier. remember?
Yeah, we can talk about specific wording of that, but yeah, that's always good, it never hurts right now.
You comfortable with bringing that back to the?
Yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable bringing that back, yeah, but I worry about, the two dads, one wears a mask, one doesn't. The guy that wears a mask says, hey, put a mask on, the other guy says, I'm not putting a mask on.
Yeah, it's
We don't have a lot of, there's no police.
We don't- As far as I know, the New York State Board of Health, you must wear a mask if you can't maintain social distance. So if you're outside and you're 7 feet apart, you don't have a mask on. So I don't know whose role it is to, and nobody seems to know who's supposed to enforce this. Is it the health department, is it your local codes officer who's so busy anyway? Is it the police? I mean, the governor's never really come out and said, who's to enforce it? It's a state law when he says do this, so he should be enforced by any or all of those entities.
And I'm gonna tell you, at Stevie Dale game yesterday, people didn't have masks on that were spectators. The kids did, and the coaches did, if they were inside the dugout too many together. But spectators, there was no mask and nothing was ever said. There was no discussion, do you have a mask?
Yeah.
But people that felt comfortable, that wanted a mask, they had a mask, and they, there was probably, I won't say 10, 15 masks total, about 40, 50 people.
That's about what we saw. I don't remember ever.
But there was nothing, no problem. My nephew plays on one of the teams.
So everybody's okay with us playing soccer on the 21st?
Absolutely.
Good.
As long as we're not at the point where
Yeah.
something happens with the state.
I would say modeling after what the state's doing for this class, you can't really go wrong with that.
Okay.
Using their dates, their guidelines, all that kind of stuff, I don't think you get much trouble with it.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else, John?
That's it for me.
Oh, so specific things, sorry, like each, no sharing water bottles, no sunflower seeds, no gum, like all that, those rules have gotta be out there too, so
The
everybody.
county soccer's, see, we don't play in the county because you have so many kids, so the county has a bunch of guidelines
Okay,
that I'm gonna get from them.
yeah.
As far as, when there's no bench and you gotta sit by yourself 6 feet apart.
And the kids, I mean, the Little League kids, they're so accustomed to this by now, there was not a second of a problem for them doing everything we told them to do for this stuff, they just did it, there was never, it worked out great.
And we can ask the county for more of the
Right.
cleaning stuff too, to, when something like that starts up.
Okay, thank you.
Mike?
Pretty much talked about it, it was favor, the only other thing, I got an executive meeting in Syracuse next month, there's some rumbling about an early buyout for retirement from the state. It's probably gonna have some teeth, because it's sponsored by a Republican and a Democrat. The idea behind it is, not so much for our towns, but the bigger towns and school districts, to stop the mass layoffs. They're hoping the incentive, with a buyout would get some of the older help to retire, not force them out, but, kind of get them to move along, to get the retirement, and then the younger help would stay. So I'm hoping I'll hear some more, but I haven't heard any more from the last meeting. So, but there is some grumblings about that.
What do you got? What do you got that you're gonna buy out?
Not me, be the state.
Okay.
But there is two, I got two that it definitely would affect. I don't believe Courtney's got anybody. But they're close. If I could have started a little younger here.
That's it.
Damn. Bye.
That's fine.
But that's about all I got. That's right now. Paper was enough items.
Pam?
No, nothing.
Diane? Matt?
For anybody that was following the saga of the Sullivan Orchard property and Verizon, we've come to an agreement where Verizon is gonna bury the lines on that property, so the issue's been resolved, everybody seems very happy.
Nice.
I wasn't sleeping all week, so.
Okay, because
unexpected news, but there was potential stop work order shutdown, all kinds of problems. And apparently, when we dealt with them, they were very easy to deal with, so we understand no problem.
Because I got a phone call that I missed it, I must have been in the scene, but, they wanted to know what the right of way was for Sullivan Road. Actually, I called them last week, because going up Smart Hill, I got a detailed map, and I went up, and the poles are supposed to be 12 feet off the road to the front of the poles, and some are like 8, 6. When we know the snow we get up there in the washouts we have there. So I got a phone call in, and I'm gonna call her back, because I definitely want them poles at 12 feet, so we got room to work, because there is no poles. You know, if they would just dig it up through, it would actually be better, but I don't care if the poles are there, as long as they get them on. But we get a lot of snow there, and we gotta be able to get that grader in there, plus the banks back. The last thing we need, I think part of the problem is there's trees, they don't wanna cut them, probably, but we're gonna make them, if we can. That might be in the park too, that might be some of the issue, why the poles are a little ahead, but we don't want them that close to the road.
Nope, that's it.
Okay.
Randy, I have one more thing I forgot about.
Oh,
You're done.
Here we go.
But the issue at the water plant with four-wheelers and side-by-sides, I'd like to post the property and put a gate across the snowmobile trail, maybe just allow it for winter use, but, they're driving all over our lawn up there, they drove in our material we took out of the backwash lagoon, got stuck, they took out our silk fence.
Yeah, I don't know what the trail looks like, but if you're gonna post that, if it's some kind of trail that leads into that, post it at least 25 to 50 feet down the trail. Gate coming, something like that, just so nobody can claim they didn't see it and they got hurt.
Same issue with farmland.
Same issue.
That's it.
There's just, they can't just cross and go on the trail and go, they gotta drive all over it.
I'm here at Fort Wheeler, we're on this trail almost every other day for the downtown road. So on the top of it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That, and if maybe John, when you write up your article, if you could put something out there, I don't know if it'll help, but ask people to please pick up after their dogs in the parks. Hayward Mason Park is awful for dog feces. It's getting all over the mowers and the guys when they trim.
It's awful.
It's been pretty bad, people not picking it up. Or bagging it, throwing the bag in the bushes, and then they hit it with a string trimmer.
Ugh.
Ask Chris Martin about that, he's like.
Anything else, Marty?
Nope.
Okay. My other business, we need to set up a workshop with AES again for September 28th, just any kind of changes, anything new that we have to do. They asked tonight, our workshop ended, if we go to September 28th at 5 p.m. That's Monday before our meeting on the 28th. I need a motion and a second to set up the workshop. Recommend motion, second by Jim Douglas. Not the workshop?
No.
Okay, then we're gonna come back. Okay, so we got a motion and we got a second. Everyone good with that date at 5 o'clock? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye? Good? Okay. Mike, you want something else?
Yeah, I met with contacts last week on the 2 spots at Telegraph, as I told you. They were proposing a liner pipe, and I said that's not gonna fly because they rejected it on Parsons Road. We went through a mess there with John Connell. Anyway, I made a courtesy call to DEC. They were kind enough to come down today. I explained to them, the budgets and taxes, that's why I want them there, just to kind of tell me yes or no what we can do. Liner pipe is out for sure, so it's either gonna be more than likely a 3-sided pipe, like we did in Fuller, so I'm gonna guess that's gonna be right around what Peter Gibbs said, 1.1 to 1.4 million, somewhere around there. The other one, we did go up the other one, that's gonna be a bridge. It's what we pretty much knew with Carl, but Carl wanted me to call him and just go through, so we'll do some more research and see if we can come up with another thing, but it's either gotta be a box culvert, which I'm against, because number one, you gotta bury 20% of it below the streams, you're gonna spend thousands of dollars, that's never gonna see daylight, so, I don't know if there's any other options with this other outfit I met last week, but, you know, I tried to get through, and they're not gonna allow a liner pipe, and that's, they propose anyway.
Right.
We went through this rodeo with Parsons Road, so
Maybe we should have Mike on DEC instead of Greg, because he seems to get him right hold of him and get him right on the ball plan.
That's DOT,
Oh, it's DOT.
not DECC.
Oh, never mind, Mike.
that's it.
Okay, the only other thing I have is,
Thank you, Courtney.
obviously, kids have a lot of time on their hands over the weekends. Seems like every weekend I'm getting messages, 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, kids are out and about and they're doing things. I got a call from Payne Street on Friday night at 2:30 in the morning to look at my cameras. They had 2 kids running by, they looked like they took political signs from someone's yard. Then on Saturday night, about 12:40, right on Main Street, Macintosh sign, street sign, kids, 14, 16-year-olds going by 3 houses, had the sign, the Macintosh sign from the street. If you see something, call the cops. Call the cops. I mean, I asked the woman if she called the cops the night before, she goes, nope. She goes, I seen them go by the front of my window, but I didn't call the cops. So if you see something, call the cops. Mike, I could imagine you're missing tons of street signs and stuff like that.
I'll be honest with you, we're not even putting back up.
It's ridiculous. I
We
mean,
replaced the ones up by Don and Old Town Road, they didn't make the week, 5 days that they were gone.
Really?
$37.50 a piece.
yeah, weekend before, I got 4
And they're
phone
doing it all
calls.
over.
Yeah, weekend before, I got 4 phone calls of, 2 people pulling on a street sign. I went over there at 1:35 on Thursday week before, time was gone. If you see something, call the cops.
Can we weld them?
Put your recorder on your phone,
Weld 'em?
record.
Weld them.
We tried that. My dad not, remember when you were here the first time? And then they got a pickup and they took posts and all, they ran right over. Then I went to every scrap yard around here, they weren't here.
12 miles an hour, they go completely flat.
And the year they did it, we had that problem.
If you do 15 miles an hour, they bounce back up and hit
Because
it.
us and JD that year was real bad. But that line item, the general expenses down board, but that was $2,500 and that didn't cover Dasna Road that year.
Yeah.
They took every sign in Dasna.
And they're-
Yeah, we go around and we beat the, behind the thread so they can't get the knot, and that's, they run over the post, take it off.
The other thing is, there's an older truck going around town too. I have plate numbers and stuff like that from a truck. The cops ran the plate and stuff like that, and came back as a stolen plate from Texas. That was stolen out in New York. The plate, it's not the same truck. So you see an older truck or you see a Texas plate, pretty much stands out. I'm not gonna say the number because obviously, but be aware of that kind of thing because they are stopping at houses that are vacant and camps and stuff like that. But it is an older Ram truck. I believe it's like a older Ram truck. Yeah. And, but it does have Texas plates on it. Plates aren't, they're not licensed or anything.
How'd you get a picture of it?
Someone put a deer cam up in their driveway of their camp on the backside of Patton Road.
Patton Road?
Yeah, so, but there's 2 guys in it, one guy's heavier set, you can see the guys, but you can't see the faces, but you can see, but just be aware of this kind of thing, because it's going on, I mean, the kids are inside the village every single weekend, they're roaming the streets, and, you don't mind that, but at the same time, quit, doing property damage and taking signs and stuff. We want people to have fun, but at the same time, it's, okay, other than that, or actually, public comments on agenda items only.
No thanks.
Okay, I need a motion and a second to pay the bills.
Motion.
Diane.
Resolution authorizing the post-audit payment of certain claims, bills, and invoices of the town. Whereas the town board has reviewed and audited the following claims, bills, and invoices for services rendered in ways provided to the town in August 2020. And the town approved vouchers in August 2020, 202000864 Ruin, including 202000923. Abstract dated 8/24/2020. For the dollar amount total $123,270.33. Of that, $12,879.76 is wired, credit cards and prepaid, and $110,390.57 is remaining to be paid. And whereas the town board finds said claims, bills, and invoices to accept the warranty full amount. Now therefore be it resolved that the payment of the 8 months of social bills and invoices is approved, and the supervisor is hereby authorized to make such payment, and be it further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. Mr. Garber?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Irwin?
Yes.
Mr. Douglas?
Yes.
Mr. McDonald?
Yes. I need a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
I need a motion.
Okay.
Now we have a motion. Rick, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
At least you guys